Because of the growth of cellular communications and the Internet, certain stocks hold the prospect of substantially above average revenue and earnings growth. AT&T and Nokia, as an example, earn respectable margins and return on common equity and would seem to fit Berkshire's criteria from a financial perspective. Has Berkshire reviewed stocks in the area of communications, and would you consider an investment in this area at some time in the future?
Yeah, there's certainly no question that amazing things have happened in communications. The overall return on equity, if you calculate it for AT&T for the last 15 years, it's not been good at all. They were the leader in the field, but so far what has happened has hurt them, at least relative to their competition, far more than it's helped them. We have a fellow on our board, Walter Scott, who's right here in the front row, if I can't quite see him, but who knows a lot more about this. He used to try to explain to me these changes that were taking place. We'd ride down to football games on Saturday, and Walter would patiently explain to me, like he was talking to a sixth grader, what was going to happen in communications. And the problem was that he had a fourth grader in the car with him, namely me. So I never got it, but Walter did. And he's done very well in MFS and Level 3. And I think for people who understand it and are reasonably early, there could very well be substantial money to be made. There's been an awful lot of money made in this town of Omaha. And I have no insights that I bring to that game that I think are in any way superior, and in probably many cases not even equal to those of other participants. There's a lot of difference between making money and spotting a wonderful industry. The two most important industries in the first half of this century in the United States, in the world, probably were the auto industry and the airplane industry. And if you'd foreseen in 1905 or thereabouts what the auto would do to the world, let alone or this country, or what the airplane would do, you might have thought that it was a great way to get rich. But very, very few people got rich by riding the back of that auto industry, and probably even fewer got rich by participating in the airline industry over that time. I mean, millions of people are flying around every day, but the number of people who have made money carrying them around is very limited, and the capital that's been lost in that business, the bankruptcies, it's been a terrible business. It's been a marvelous industry. So you do not want to necessarily equate the prospects of growth for an industry with the prospects for growth in your own net worth by participating in it. Charlie?
Well, it reminds me of a time in World War II when there were these two aircraft officers I knew, and they didn't have anything to do at the time. And some general came in to visit, and he said to one of them, he says, "Lieutenant Jones, what do you do?" He says, "I don't do anything." He turned to the second one, and he says, "What do you do?" And he says, "I help Lieutenant Jones." That's been my contribution on communications investments.
You can address me as Lieutenant Jones for the rest of the meeting.
Most company Berkshire invest at this time are not in high technology sector. What we have seen in the last few years, that there seems to be a significant growth both in sales and earnings of the high technology area. And also what your shareholder believe, that the times are changing from a brand name to high technology. My question is, can someone apply your investment principle, business philosophy, and your discipline in life to build a portfolio of, say, 5 or 6 high technology company? Let's call it Berkshire Hathaway Technology Fund.
Well, I think it would sell. The question about Charlie and I won't be able to do it. We try not to get into things that we don't understand. And if we're going to lose your money, we want to be able to come before you, next year and tell you we lost your money because we thought this and it turned out to be that. We don't want to say, somebody wrote us a report saying if, this is what's going to happen in some field that we don't understand and that therefore we lost your money by following someone else's advice. So I think that the principles, I think Ben Graham's principles are perfectly valid when applied to high-tech companies. It's that we don't know how to do it, but that doesn't mean somebody else doesn't know how to do it. My guess is that if Bill Gates were thinking about some company in an arena that he understood and that I didn't understand, he would apply much the same way of thinking about the investment decision that I would. I might think I understand Coca-Cola or Gillette, and he may have the ability to understand a lot of other businesses that seem as clear to him as Coke or Gillette would seem to me. I think once he identified those, he would apply pretty much the same yardsticks in deciding how to act. I think he would act. I think he would have a margin of safety principle. It might be a little different because there's essentially more risk in a high-tech company, but he would still have the margin of safety principle on a sort of adjusted for the mathematical risk of loss in his mind. He would have he would look at it as a business, not as a stock. He would not buy it on borrowed money. I mean, a bunch of principles would be carried through. But our circle of things we understand is really unlikely to enlarge. Maybe a tiny bit here or there, but if the capital doesn't get too large, the circle's okay. But we will not, if we have trouble finding things within our circle, we will not enlarge the circle. We'll wait. That's our approach.